All right, we're going to draw a couple of heads of hair. I know this guy, Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know this person, but great hair. So kind of a 3/4 view of the face and of the head. This one is a straight on, or very close to a straight on. Notice our values here is light hair on a dark background, and we want to make sure that get that background in. This one is dark hair on light background. And some of the white highlights in the hair we will pull out with an eraser, and I say we, I mean you. We'll do this one together, and then you'll do this one on your own. So first I'm going to draw some reference lines, and I think I'm going to go straight through and horizontally and vertically. Now that's not the center of her face, right? Normally I would want to do a cross hair down the middle of her eyes, but I'm not really focusing on this. I just am going to do mostly the hair. So my cadre of pencils here, erasers, shading stump, tissue. I'm also working on 2 pages of paper, so there's a little bit of padding, which I like to do. And I'm going to use my HB to draw in those reference lines. Nice and light, knowing that I'm going to erase them later. Now some reference points. Definitely the outside there and there and there. This would be a nice place to have. The part. And right here would be good. Those areas, that. Let's start with those, and then we'll add some more in a bit. That's where the part is. Beautiful curl. Top of the head here comes around. And generally like this. Kind of a complicated shape, really. And I'm just going to pick it apart and build it. That's where her hand touches her shoulder. I need to know where her ear is. So let's make some reference points for the ear. There at the top of the helix, down at the lobule. And her chin, where it meets the reference line, would be a great point to know also. Wow, that's a big ear. Not really. Ear in 3/4 view. Come down around like this. Okay, so notice this, how it comes from the part down, swings down around the ear. And from about there-ish, comes down, swings down around the ear. And I'm creating, right, the direction of this hair is important. how about this opening of the hair right there? I kind of like to know where that is, so I'm going to make a reference point there. And create that opening in this area. The direction of the hair here goes up and back, and across here it starts wrapping around the head in the opposite direction. Maybe we should do some of the side of her head. No, I'm changing my mind. I could draw all of her face in, I suppose, but don't need to do that, so I'm not going to. You can if you'd like. So that's my line drawing. Now I'm going to move to general value. Before I do that, I'm going to erase my points, my reference points. And now that I'm getting ready to erase, I notice I'm missing a major curl right here that I need to draw in. So I'm going back to my line drawing. So crossing there, crossing there. In fact, this is a good point there, comes down and around and then behind the ear right there. And also this hair, I kind of need to know that. I want to draw those in. That point there. And this one. Comes down, swings around to that point. And let's not forget this hair here that kind of curls in front of her hair. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to erase the reference lines using my kneaded eraser. That's the one that does the least amount of burnishing. If yours is super dirty, then you need to knead it. There we go. Now let's evaluate what's going on here. So squint at it and let's find the biggest darks, strongest darks, our 5s, and our lightest lights. I would say definitely the background is all black, 5, 5, 5. We've also got lots of 5 in here where the part is. Also this side of the face, you know, kind of about here down, here over and here down is pretty dark. The ear even is, I think, approaching a 3, and we've got lots of 4s, if not 5s, right behind the ear, below the ear, and the jaw, and this shadowy area here. All needs to be very dark. So that's where we're going to darken up. Now let's go to the other extreme, our whites. Okay, so definitely light sources coming from right here, hitting this part of her head is spherical as is her hair. And it's highlighting in this area right through here. Squint at it so that it separates the values. And just look for the lights, and it's strong here. Even though we have these individual strands, generally highlights all through here down into there. And then coming back around here from a 1 to a 2-ish. And some more 1 right there on her shoulder where hair is falling. And 2s in these individual strands. We'll create these individual strands both through our pencil and through erasing them out. And I don't know that we need to draw every single strand, but we do need to make a hint of what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to start with my graphite stick, and I want to get in that dark that surrounds her head. Kind of a halo. I'm also going to get this dark area underneath. And the dark that is on that side of the ear. In fact, surrounding the ear. Lots of dark there. It's a little challenging to get in those fine areas with this graphite stick, but I'm going to try. And I'd like to put a little bit up in here too, into the part. Light on in this area that's kind of a 3-ish. And perhaps I'll shadow her face a little bit. Now let's soften that. One of my favorite parts is blending this graphite stick. Smooths it out so nice and gives us such a nice base of transitions and places to pull highlights out of. Really nice. Sometimes we can kind of mimic the action of the hair. Side of the face I'm going to be a little softer with a new piece of tissue so that the dark doesn't get blended in properly. Now, as I soften this up, I'm going to try to pull the graphite in the direction that the hair swirls, right? Create some of the texture that that hair is producing. I know there's some earrings in there, but don't care too much about the earring. It's so 80s anyway. Now, these need to go darker. For sure. Drag some of that dark to create the fibers of the hair. All right, now let's go and use our 8B and get those darks in, right? The graphite stick put a lot of 3s in, some of the 4s, but it doesn't do a very good job of making things black. And black is what we need. So I'm going to put in the jaw again, around the ear, the part, everywhere I put that graphite stick, I'm going to come back in and place a little more dark. First around the ear, using my 8B. And pretty crisp edges here. Super dark, right? And in here, I'm going to produce some of the strands of the hair that are dark. Her hand creates kind of a border of dark. I'm going to soften that up. Okay, now, oh gosh, we got all the inward parts of the ear that I think I'd like to suggest. I don't think I have to draw them all out, but the antihelix. Soften those texture that I'm putting with that 8B with the shading stump. Right now, notice this is all in shadow. There's no whites in there at all. The white is up in here. And so I need to maintain that white. Everything else needs to be dropped in value. And this still needs some more drop in value. In fact, I'm going to put some more graphite stick in it. Okay, so like when we did eyelashes, this is kind of similar in that we're putting value generally in her hair, and then we go and pull individual strands as details. Those are details. Right now we get the general form of the hair. And we do that by the value, right? It's light here, and as it moves down the side of the head, it changes in value. So we got a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and then finally the 5s down in here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the 1 up in here. And there's a gradual change of that happening. How about this dark in here? And we're going to be moving into details here pretty quick. I've done a lot already of value and front of the face. I'm not going to put in, but I do want to put a little bit of value in, I think. Some of you are going to want to draw that face in. You just go right ahead. All right? You just do that. Okay, I'm drawing some individual strands now, so gosh, I don't know where the difference is going to be from general value into details. It's going to happen here. Let's just say that we're pretty close. Details is next. Okay, for my details now, I'm going to draw some more individual strands. Tuck it down on top of her eye. This dark end, that dark end. Some individual strands here, and then we'll come back in with the eraser and we'll pull some of those highlights, I hope. That's what I'm hoping for. See if I can make nice smooth curves, those waves that are her hair produces. She worked a lot on this hair this morning, I'm telling you. Price of beauty. I've got 4 girls at home, and man, they spend a lot of time on their hair. I just know this girl is doing the same. So, hats off to you girls out there doing so much hair. Now this, no, that's fast. That's fast hair right there. He washes it, puts his hands through it, puts a little bit of gel in there, spikes it, all done. This girl, no. She took some time straightening the hair, making it all smooth and flowy. And I want those gentle curves to roll around and some strands a little lighter, some a little darker. I'm going to take an 8B and see if I can't get some dark in there, right in that area. Smooth it off with a shading stump. Putting in some of that strong cheekbone. Working around the top of the hair, and I've still got to put highlight in there. In fact, it's time. It's just time to do that, okay? So maybe the sharp pencil eraser will do the job. Highlights up in there. See if I can pull them out. Got this strand right there. Comes out of the top of her, out of the part. Comes down and kind of wraps. There we go. Not super light. A few more. This time with my kneaded eraser. I wanted to mention that a lot of students, right, when you go to do your original portrait, you're going to want to do beards or mustaches, you know, facial hair. And we don't do any practices on that except for when we do Gandalf. We'll do a beard and a mustache. So I consider that as practice. So we'll definitely do some of that before you do your own portrait. So feel free to choose a hairy face when you do your portrait. I've kind of forgotten about my hair down in there, and maybe I can pull in some strands with my shading stump. And also some of those wisps. Right, tighten your down to a very thin edge. And try that, see how it works for you. I am able to pull, especially out of those 2 and 3 values, some little wisps of hair, and I like it. I like the way it looks. All right, I'm going to draw some more in using my 2B, which is a pretty hard lead and sharp. My 2B is pretty sharp. So done. My details. So in review, right, we've got 1 to 5 values. There's my 5s up to my 1s, and then I've got 2s and 3s and 4s all in there. I've got soft transitions happening, and I've got these crisp edges here, here. That makes a good drawing to feast your eyes on. Now this one here of Mr. DiCaprio, you'll do yourself. Same thing, right? We've got lots of dark against a light background. These hairs, the black ones, right, they'll be details. First put in general darks. Erase out the highlights. Find the general direction of the hair, right? This V right here and that big swooping curve and some curls right in there. That's what you want to do. Work in clumps. Notice the forehead. That might be a good thing to put in. The gradual change of value. So we've got 5s in here right next to 1s. And the one that is his forehead right here. And of course this one is really nice next to his that straight on ear. And how much of this you want to put in is up to you, but come down here and at least maybe give us the outline of this, you know, and the hair here is gradual change of value there, and then the crisp edges around the silhouette of the hair here, and the crispness of these individual strands will be important.